Hello lovelies, this is a really great project. It's to make a tassel bookmark. I've seen them all over the internet. They're tassel bookmarks for Bibles, but you could use them for anything. Your tassel is going to be made up of lots of different bits of trim, and you could use ribbon, you could use pom-poms, you can use anything you like. They need to be 15 inches or longer depending on how big you want your tassel to be. The thread that you're going to use to make your main bookmark and to make your tassel with should be around 40 inches, but it needs to be a bit longer if your Bible or your book is going to be a bit longer. You can use any thread or you can use yarn, but you lay it out, and in the very middle point you would lay out your trims. You can use anything: yarn, velvet ribbon, silk ribbon, string, twine, anything. You can find them at all good craft stores in the haberdashery department. I love that word, haberdashery. You can make your tassel as thick or as thin as you like. When you've got all your bits of trim laid out, you're then going to take either end of your very long piece and you are going to tie a knot in it. I would recommend 2 or 3 knots just to make sure that it stays secure. For this next part, you're going to need a couple of big chunky beads that have got big enough hole through the middle that you can put your thread through. So I'm going to use a much larger bead first. I'm going to thread that on just like this, and then I'm going to thread on a smaller bead. And when both beads are threaded on, then you will tie a couple of knots. The number of knots you'll need will all depend on how thick that thread is that you've used to thread through them. If it's a slightly thicker yarn, you may only need 2 knots, but I would recommend 3 at the very minimum. You just don't want that top bead to slide over it. You want to fix it in place, so that may take 3 or even 4 knots. When you've done those knots, we're going to need another double knot near the bottom, because we're going to put another bead onto it. We need to measure between. I wish I'd done this a bit of a bigger gap, but I'll know for next time. So the double knot at the bottom is where you're going to put your next bead. Then you're going to double knot that again so that you've got your bead stuck in place, and you can make the end all fluffy too. Anyway, it makes a really lovely no-sew bookmark. Happy tasseling.